reaching out and working with your community and going out there, really, I think it's something that I hope all small businesses and other businesses are able to do. It's just really right in front of your door. It's not that far away. The people that work with you from your neighborhood and their kids go to the school, and it's very intertwined. It's very small and it's very rewarding, and that's how I think it works.
Welcome to the My SGV podcast. Our mission is to capture and share the stories of the people of the San Gabriel Valley. We believe our diversity is what makes the SGV great. And no matter where you're from in the San Gabriel Valley, you will feel welcome.
All right, SGVers, welcome back to another episode of the My SGV podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you spending this time with us. If you're a returning listener, sit back. We got someone else right here in the San Gabriel Valley for you with another interesting story and journey. If you're new here, thanks for joining us. Please consider subscribing. Scott, I know you're just waiting to have those pastries back there. I can imagine you're thinking about them. But, on the many things that you've shared with us and our listeners about the things in your life and that you've gone through in business and whatnot, you said one of them was this dream or desire to have a retail space, which I never knew of you.
Oh, I always wanted to think of myself as a shopkeeper, but in the community, just open my store to the community. And, well, it's really a good marketing approach, I think, I always just wanted to be part of the community, in the community, just run a donut shop or something.
Well, this podcast is it's not really a retail space, but it is a way that you've been inviting the community here and sharing with them and allowing them to share their stories. Yeah,
it's worked out well that way, where we really do have are building a sense of community, I think,
sure,
in what we're doing. But I think, just the brick and mortar really appeals to me, just to have that spot, in that place in the community.
Sure. And as, huge corporations sort of take over a lot of retail, you lose that mom and pop feel where you walk in there, they know you, they take care of you, you feel very welcome, and the replacement is like, disgruntled employees who don't really want to be there.
Right.
And, but that feel of being taken care of, opening their doors to the community, being a part of the community is, it feels really good for one, but is also a recipe for success.
Yeah, and I think it's there's a small town feel too. So this is why I always was attracted to the Midwest, the small towns of Americana, you would say. And I think that we have that feel here in the San Gabriel Valley.
Yeah, I absolutely feel that in the San Gabriel Valley for, with a lot of businesses. I look for businesses like that. And if you're looking for businesses, don't forget to check out San Gabriel Valley Now, your source for city news, announcements, events, special savings, and everything SGV. Check them out on Instagram, sgv.now, and read their SGV Now magazine on their website, sgvnow.com. Well, I mentioned the pastries, and I'm excited. Pastries are sort of my weakness, but maybe a week ago or several weeks ago, we went to visit our guest at his location in San Gabriel, and I'm going to introduce him now. His name is Jason Kim. He has many hats, and he's involved in many different things, but today I'm going to introduce you as the director of Paris Baguette in San Gabriel. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
And are you a LA Dodgers fan?
I am. I'm also a Lakers fan.
Okay. Oh no.
No.
Scott says he hates the Lakers.
Oh, really? Get used to it. We're going to keep winning. So
I hate the Lakers more than any pro sports team in the world.
Oh, what about Dodgers? I know you're not a Dodgers fan.
Not a Dodgers fan, but I can tolerate them, not too much, but the Lakers, though, just absolute hatred for them. I'm not from Los Angeles, so I never had that tie to them.
So, Jason, you win a lot of points with our listeners now. And
yes.
Yeah, and I've just, the number of subscribers is probably
gone
down. Yeah.
Well, Jason, we got a chance to meet and talk when I first met you at Paris Baguette. And that had been my first time going there. And, amazing place, beautiful, amazing place. Before we get into that and everything else, what is your connection to the San Gabriel Valley?
I came here to, manage retail real estate at first, I would say about 7-8 years ago. And then had the opportunity to work with a lot of investors and friends here, and was able to get one of my close friends to invest into Paris Baguette, and was able to run it, and moved here and started living here and started managing and started working here more intensely.
Is this a company that you created, or is it a larger franchise type operation?
Paris Baguette is a franchise. They have over, I think, about 150 stores. I could be wrong about that number. It could be larger. They're trying to get to about 200 stores here in the United States. They have a lot of stores here in the West Coast, and they're expanding. And this location is a franchisee owned and operated.
And you're right in San Gabriel on Las Tunas, right?
Yeah, Las Tunas and Mission Drive.
Right.
We talked a lot about many things before the show, and there were so many different directions to go in. When we first spoke over the phone, you had mentioned the journey of your parents coming here. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think this story is very similar to a lot of people here in San Gabriel and in Los Angeles, where an immigrant population, our parents, or, they've come here, started their own business, or, do something like that. And I remember seeing my grandpa run a dry cleaners when I was young. He would run the business for the family, keep the door really closed, only worry about what's within the four corners of the business and taking care of his family. And this kind of speaks to how you started about, you've always wanted to be this person about the community, share, have a donut shop, right? I think you're doing that with the podcast, definitely, for sure. And it's very nice. But that wasn't the mindset of a lot of the, my grandpa or the, parents before us. They came here to really try to make a better life and, make money really and take care of their family. And so they weren't as, they couldn't go beyond the four corners of their wall. They were very, they were really looking inside, not outside the store, where you're coming from a perspective of looking at outside the store.
They had a different perspective.
Yeah.
They were not only coming to something, but leaving something as well that wasn't attractive to them for whatever reason.
Yeah, and also like they've left their home to come here, so they feel like this is, a new place. They're coming here and they feel disconnected, right? They don't feel as connected. They miss home too, and so you see them running their business differently, really, than how you're talking about it today, and how we're going to be talking about it today.
Right. You've seen it in a different way, the way you want to take your business.
Yeah. And this I think we can agree. We probably have the same denominator here. It's about being a responsible neighbor and being a part of the community, right? And nourishing the community back. And I think that kind of stuff only comes, I don't know, maybe from you, maybe from me, some other people too, but we want to just be out there more. And we got to kind of go back to the grassroots of being a neighborhood business, like a small town business, like you mentioned. Like, for instance, I imagine if we turned the clock back and there was a donut shop or a bakery or even a carpenter store or a plumber store, right? Like, he would go and fix the neighbor's, like, school. He'll go fix the water fountain at the school. He would go help his neighbors. And if you're a bakery or you're a donut shop, you bake a little extra and give it to the neighbors, the kids, the students, the teachers, the people that are in the community, adding value, increasing human capital and so forth, right, for your neighborhood. And so you give back, it's kind of you going back into that. This is your town. This is your neighborhood. Mm-hmm. There are, let's take care of one another, that kind of mindset.
And there are kids growing up right now who will go to it's not a store really, it's a cafe, bakery, and they'll remember it the rest of their life, I mean, that's got to be something that's a little sort of humbling for you, isn't it? That you've created something that will be in someone else's life and memories forever.
Yeah, thank you. And I think I've also had that experience myself in some of my childhood.
Yeah.
And we're able to take the best of our memories and be able to give back. And one day they'll be where we're at, sitting maybe here in this podcast, and they'll be doing the same thing and passing it on to the next generation, and we'll be older and it'll be beyond us, right? And so it's kind of continuous. Yeah.
you said experienced some of that in your childhood. Do you have memories of like businesses that you would frequent, by yourself or with your family, and they had that sort of feeling that you're striving for now?
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't get to go out and eat a lot. My mom and my grandparents, we ate at home a lot, but we did get to go out, and when we did, it was a treat, and those memories are great. To go to your neighborhood stores and to be able to. I mean, for me, actually, my favorite experience was probably going to In-N-Out. I know that's not like a neighborhood thing, but I grew up eating hamburgers, and they have a positive connotation just because it was given to me as like reward, like, hey, you did really good in school, we'll go out and have a burger today.
Yeah.
So the positive reinforcement gave me a lot of positive memories there. And so, I think about that.
I see. And Jason, you didn't grow up in the San Gabriel Valley though, right? Where did you grow up?
Mostly in West Hollywood and in Los Angeles area, but came over to San Gabriel. Really nice here.
And when you like finished with school, I know you're into real estate, commercial real estate. Mm-hmm. So what was your path from school into doing that?
Went to school for real estate finance, and then got into the capital markets and worked on the financing of commercial real estate. So financing both debt and placing equity, and working in a large publicly traded company for that, and was an analyst there for a bit. And then from there, kind of took the chance and wanted to start my own business and start consulting and start managing. So I had an opportunity to do that with a few people, and then now consolidated into another company. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That
must have been really exciting for you to do what you were doing in your job, which was, financial analytics, mm-hmm. I would imagine. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then to think that now I can go form my own company or create my own company, and what you were doing for other people, now you're doing for yourself.
Yeah. One of the main decisions I made to move that direction was I saw a lot of people trying to do their own business like later in their lives. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to take a risk when I'm young, or when I was younger, so that if I was to make a mistake or it didn't really work out, I still have the chance to like recover, I guess, so to speak. But I just kind of wanted to try it. And it took me on this journey. And here I am today, being able to work with friends. And
what was the first thing that you did on your own?
I did two things. I started, actually, I was in San Gabriel before this, actually. I didn't tell you about this. I totally forgot. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I left the public, you get out of school, you go to the big firms, you work, right? And then I left, and I picked up like two other partners, and we started a real estate like brokerage and management company. And we started running that together. I was young, that was early. And then we were doing okay. And then we had a friend of mine who's an attorney. He opened a yogurt shop, like a frozen yogurt shop. Back then, before like Yogurtland, and like it was when there was like a froyo, like,
yeah, that big
phase.
Boom.
Yeah, big phase. And he opened a yogurt shop here in San Gabriel, like on the side. Kind of like maybe like you like to open a donut shop, right? He did that. But I don't think he had this really great idea like you about serving the community. I think he was more like, hey, I want to make some money. I think that's, I want to take a shot at that, have passive income. And he didn't have the time to be there and manage it. He had other people working on it, and he had this lease that he couldn't get out of. So we were talking, and I said, you know what, like me and my buddies will take it over, and we'll do like a pizza restaurant.
Oh yeah.
And so we tried, and I tried that for like 2-3 years, and I was actually here in San Gabriel. And so I was here trying that business on the weekends with my buddies as one of the investors. And I was young. I was not as experienced, and have this kind of community thing. I didn't really realize all this at that time. And I did it for like 3 years. I walked away from it. And I just continued to do my real estate work. And then
you have to have those failures, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, to think that you're gonna, you think you can beat the odds too, right? But sometimes it's not like that. And it really humbled me. I learned a lot from that. And then later I had this opportunity to, again, I don't know, do it again in San Gabriel, right? With Paris Baguette. And so this time around I had a different approach. I also had, I was wise enough at this point to know that I'm wise enough to not know everything, right? And so I just, saw things differently. Mm-hmm.
I often find that I appreciate this ability in people to pick back up, to keep going, to not look at like a failure as the end, right? But more like a learning thing. And it's not something that everybody has. And I'm always interested in where people develop that, because, if you could bottle that and package it, like, this is probably, I think, one of the most valuable things that you can have, right? But where do you think that you got that from? Because clearly you had to have it to continue on this path, right, in your journey.
Yeah. I'll kind of example. I'll do my best on answering that. Hopefully it works.
Sure.
I think often the simplest way that I think a lot of people could relate to this, kind of the courage to pick back up and do it again, so to speak, is to kind of look at everyone's relationships, right? If you had a boyfriend or girlfriend or had a relationship and you broke up, or oftentimes at first you might deal with frustrations and disappointments and anger, but then you really learn a lot about yourself. Every time, something happens like that, you learn a lot about yourself. You leave and you improve yourself, right? You say, oh, well, you know what did I do wrong? I just didn't do those things. Like, I didn't give it my best, or I could have done better in those moments. And I rescinded. Didn't work out. And so you kind of take that same approach with, I think, anything else with work and life, with clients, with opportunities. Sometimes it doesn't work, but then you can pick yourself back up and learn from them, review, let the emotions pass at first. If you're tired, you got to sleep. If you're hungry, you have to eat. If you're upset, you just have to stay angry for a moment and let that subside, let that go, and then really start to understand how you can do better, how you can be better the next time another opportunity comes. And I think that's the kind of the stem of picking yourself up. And if we can bottle that and pass it over for someone else to hopefully understand, that's how I would. Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you for that gem. Self-reflection is like so important, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it seems challenging for some people in certain moments, because then it also holds the mirror up to you, right?
Yeah, it's hard.
So let's say thank you for that, Jason. We ask each guest to bring an item of significance with them. What did you bring with you today?
Okay, I couldn't bring it with me, but I guess there'd be like a photo that comes up. It's an artwork made by a local artist here in Los Angeles in downtown. He drew portraits of artists that have passed away at age 27. And he was at age 27 when he drew it. He didn't pass away. He's still alive. But he kind of tributed, and he drew this watercolor with a little bit of oil, and he put it on these large canvas, and he made a few. And I was able to meet him, and I saw his work, and I was really taken back. And for the first time, I wanted to purchase art in my life when I saw that. Like, I went to museums a few times. I appreciate art, and I purchased it, and I liked it so much. I got 2 more and hung it in my office, and it's been around my everyday. I look at it every day in my office, and so it's a very significant piece.
What do you see in it?
Yeah, good question, right? People ask me that. I would say, and I can kind of say it to your profession as well, someone has dedicated their entire career, right, their life. They went to school for it. They've been immersed in it. They surround themselves with other artists. And, sometimes you look at art and be like, well, I could probably do that myself. I don't want to pay thousands of dollars for that drawing. I can do that, right? Yeah. Come on, that looks like not even realistic. It looks abstract, right? But someone's really devoted themselves, been around other artists, take counsel, make their own fingerprint, right? Make their own footprint in the space. And I think that's something you can really appreciate. My mom was an artist. She's a violinist, and art takes time. It takes discipline, much like a legal practice or any other professional services. You're immersed with other professionals talking about progressive thoughts about legal work, where the environment's going, what other people are doing, what kind of cases you've worked on, or what kind of experiences you've gathered. And I think same happens in the art circle. And people who are in art, and you can really appreciate their work.
It's an agonizing process.
Yeah,
art. I lived with an artist, and he was, a very close friend of mine, and I could see how it really just, this whole creation idea just really, it just consumed him, I mean, he had to create something. He would, in our apartment, he would paint all the walls, directly on the walls, what was inside of him. He just had this passion to get out what was consuming him inside. And you know, what shows on the walls, you know, he could identify with. That was him, you know. It was really a very interesting life, how he was, you know, it was just an all-consuming passion to create and to get out this inner
I think it's really hard, you know.
Beauty,
whatever. If you're an artist, I guess you have to come up with something that's uniquely yours, right? Like your pressure to conform and appeal to the mass, but then also be able to create something that's completely your own specific footprint, fingerprint, your own genetic, like something just of your stuff. And that's a difficult journey. And maybe your roommate, your friend was on that journey, right? And he was trying to find that moment for himself, I guess. I really don't know. But yeah.
But you're right. I mean, what comes out and what you see, your reaction may be, oh, I could do that. What's so special about that?
Yeah, right? Or people look at some professional work and be like, oh, I can do that. What's so special about that, right? But
I can hit a home run.
Yeah.
I can score 20 points. I can only think of what the landlord thought when we moved out, you know. All these walls painted.
He'll probably just deduct that from security deposit. He was probably thinking, oh, okay, well, painting cost.
Yeah.
Primer.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think like it probably was hard to remove because I don't know, some of it might have been like oil. I'm not sure. But then on a more positive note, Paris Baguette and this type of shop, this is where you see happy people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people come in and as you were just saying before we went on air, people come in because it's their dessert or it's their happy time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a treat, you know, the extra calories you can put on that day, or you're there to indulge in something like a sliced cake or a pastry, something sweet, something savory. And people are coming in usually very happy. And it's a happy experience for kids. They come in, they want to choose a cookie or something like that. And they're running around looking at different colors and displays and pointing and saying, hey, I want this. And so it's a very happy place, and it's a great place to be able to be a part of the community and work through that medium and connect with people and to deliver more happiness, I guess, you know, to people who are already coming to try to be even happier.
I'm smiling because I'm contrasting that with like what are places that they're not like a tow yard office,
The exact opposite.
or you know, someone who's like just really pissed off, like So what a business that everybody comes there and they're like, you know, they're gonna have a great experience.
For some reason, I'm thinking of that little soda fountain in South Pasadena.
Oh, yes. On Fair Oaks.
On Fair Oaks, yeah. It's just like you just go and eat ice cream or something, right?
Yeah. You'll just be working with happy people coming in.
Do people come in and do they like to sit there for a long time and just talk and eat? Or what's that like?
So when this Paris Baguette was designed in St. Gabriel, the investor thought it'd be a great idea to put this community room, the room where we sat, and we got to talk a little bit.
That's an unusual room. I've never seen something like that, but describe that.
And that was to allow, really, I think from early on when we were designing it and looking at the store and the space, to create the function of community, to be able to have a space where, you know, people can have their business meetings, their coffee and pastries and talk over work, or they can come and celebrate a small birthday hangout, right? And be able to have a cake with their friend and meet on occasion on a Sunday. And so to create this community room, and we do use that room, we do offer it to the community. So there's been volunteer meetings there. We've had the coffee with the cop there for St. Gabriel, coffee with the cop there. And that area does get used, and our space is part of the community where people come and hang out and they, you know, break bread and hang out.
I liked that community room because it was glass. And so you didn't have this feeling of being shut off in another room, but you were part of the big bakery.
Yeah.
But you were separated and it was a bit quieter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that.
Yeah.
Was that a glass partition or was that permanently installed?
It's permanently installed, but it couldn't be its own room due to like building codes. But it's still, yes, we wanted to create this kind of separation and create this kind of a community area as well. I mean, it gets used for everybody. It's open for everybody, but wanted to add that into the store.
It's glass to the inside of the store, but also there's a glass wall to the outside where you can see the community walking by and people coming to visit the stores there. It's a really beautiful place. I really enjoyed being there.
In the little town I grew up in, there was a place called Third Place Books, and the owner created this. He wanted it to be the third place. There's home and there's work. And then there's a third place people would go to. And this was a magnificent community asset. And it's still there in Lake Forest Park, Washington, where I grew up. It's Third Place Books. And it's a bookstore, but it has little eating, nooks and little, coffee. And it offers, different kinds of food. But it's a big public room where people can just come and sit, It's very nice. And that's kind of what you're intending to do, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's kind of what's happening there. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, you also said that you worked on a lot of, I forget how you described it, Asian sort of centered in the San Gabriel Valley. And the space that you're in is one that's very central to the San Gabriel Valley in the city of San Gabriel, close to the Mission. If you're not familiar, it's nearby Golden Deli or catty corner to Golden Deli.
Yeah, it's a good reference point. Yeah.
So that corner, or what did you call it? The center?
The shopping center?
Yeah. You had some sort of name for it. Maybe I'm mistaken. But you sort of run that and you help place the tenants in there. Is that correct?
Yes. Curating, tenants in a shopping center is very important to have the right mixture of tenants. Tenants that can work well together, businesses that can work well together. I've been working and managing shopping centers in the Asian kind of American community, so the Asian ethnic market kind of, so in Koreatown, Little Tokyo, and downtown, and San Gabriel, primarily San Gabriel now. And able to meet with a lot of tenants, a lot of business owners, small business owners, and work in the shopping center. Paris Baguette's in one of those.
So I've been going to that center for, probably since 2000, no, maybe before then, probably like in mid-90s. And when Vietnam House was there, and we spoke about that. That was a long time ago. And now I just see that all those different places have really elevated the place, Paris Baguette especially, with the little outdoor walkway. And it's interesting how you're saying curating the places, or the tenants rather, to be in there. So Paris Baguette, you operate, and I forget what was the Korean fried chicken one?
Bonchon fried chicken.
That's right. Yeah. And you said someone else, the Katsu Sando.
Katsu Sando, really cool tenant. I think also the shopping center, and I'll kind of add San Gabriel into this, is San Gabriel's a really strong food market. It's a strong community that really supports, and businesses can come here and have a great opportunity when it comes to providing like food. There's a very strong market here. And I think it's only a matter of time. I think a lot of different, and this speaks to the curation of the shopping center. Bonchon Fried Chicken is also a Korean fried chicken franchise. And the Korean soup place in the corner called Yukdaejang is also another franchise, a Korean spicy soup franchise. Paris Baguette too is a Korean franchise. And it's been quickly understood that even in the Korean like shopping centers in Koreatown, we would bring 85 Bakery there, and they would be well accepted and well received and do really well. And we can share this market. Korean franchise can come into San Gabriel and actually be very successful, maybe even more successful than they are in their own town. And I think it's only a matter of time that it's going to reach other franchise and other national level business owners and brands. They're gonna come in here. So Starbucks should make bigger splash here, or Chipotle, or any other larger tenants, right? And names that we know. But I think more and more businesses, brands, and they'll find more confidence to come into San Gabriel Valley. The numbers are strong here. Community is really resilient. They really support and go out and eat, and it's a good neighborhood to do business in.
I love that little shopping center. Like, just thinking about like the variety that I can get there. I don't want to go to a place that's where I can see it duplicated everywhere else.
Yeah. And Katsu Sando is, I can talk about it a little bit if you want to.
Sure.
Super cool tenant. He came from Japan. He worked at a Michelin star restaurant in Japan. Then he came back to stateside and started making katsu sandwiches. And his katsu sandwiches are delicious. And he had this small place in Chinatown in downtown that had like no sign, no seating, there wasn't even parking in front of his unit, and there were people selling those Lucky Bamboo on the street. You can't even see his store. I drove it by many times, couldn't even find it when I was looking for it. And there was all these people waiting in line and having his food, and somebody pointed to me to approach him to see if they would be interested in, looking at real estate spaces or something like that. I forget exactly how we met, and he noticed that all his orders were from the 626 area code. And so he wanted to open a second location here in San Gabriel, and we were able to work closely with the property owner and bring them here into the city. Since then, he's been really successful, and he's done multiple IP deals with Westfield Mall, and he's now going to be opening multiple locations nationwide. He's here in San Gabriel. Go try it.
So you actually sort of introduced him to this new way of doing business?
No, he's really good at what he does. He's a master of his craft. He's very passionate, so passionate that during the summer, I think he makes Japanese shaved ice, and he flies them here from Japan.
Wow.
I feel like I'm almost marketing for this guy, but he's really good.
Well, you're helping him scale up, though, aren't you?
He did that on his own.
Really?
But he's had, he wanted to come to San Gabriel. We had the space for him. The owners did, and we were able to get him here. But that also shows, again, back to the strength of the neighborhood, being able to work on the curation, find the good tenants, find people to come here and open their businesses and be part of the community. And he's a good add to the community. And Bonchang Fried Chicken too, Yukdaejang too, they're all really great business owners.
Yukdaejang, that is a very spicy soup. It is.
Yeah, it's really good. They opened here just before the pandemic. They did really well. They're opening multiple locations.
Really?
Yeah, and one of the cool things that he did, and I hope some people can take this, like he started to freeze his soup and sell them, so you can take it home and just kind of cook it yourself. And so he did that during the times when we had the mandate to stay home.
Oh, yeah.
And that moved really well. So he was able to have these frozen packs, like these cubes of soup, like those frozen ramen, right?
Oh,
yeah. They do that now. So or
Scott lived in Korea. He speaks Korean.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and Yukdaejang, I was always so proud. I could eat a bowl of it. It's extremely spicy, really spicy, and I would eat it. I couldn't eat it today.
One thing that I do want to mention about businesses like Katsusando and Yukdaejang, we're talking about these tenants and their businesses, and even with Paris Baguette, overwhelmingly when I talk to the business owners and the tenants at the center, they tell me that San Gabriel is actually a very family-oriented neighborhood. Like in downtown, you can sell a lunch to a student or to a professional, but in San Gabriel, they come as a family, and so. Immediately they're and also noticing on the menu there's a lot of oftentimes a share plate. Like if you go to Yukdaejang, there'd be a plate that you can share with 3 to 4 people and then get your own individual stuff.
So you're calling it Yukdaejang. So that's a different.
That's the name. That's the name of the business. Yukdaejang is the actual item that they sell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's confusing, but yeah, that's what they are. And Katsusando's developing a family pack or family menu, because they realized that the customer base is different from then in downtown. And also in Paris Baguette, we realized when people come and buy pastries, they don't just buy one chocolate croissant and a coffee just have themselves. They usually buy a lot for their family. So it's a very family-oriented community. It's very strong in that sense, sharing. And the irony is that businesses should be doing the same thing. We should be sharing and we go to a restaurant, there's a Chinese restaurant or Asian restaurant, we share. We order a plate and you have a little plate, and we order a family style and we have it together. We literally break food together and break together. And I think that's what's happening here a lot, and that's the culture. And if business owners can adopt that mindset that they've had it at home and be able to do that for their community, go out there and do something for them and give back, a lot can be reciprocated, from the community.
Jason, I know that's a philosophy that you not only hold, but you put into practice with Paris Baguette. And we've talked a little bit about that. I want to get into some of the things that you do and have done with the community, but let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
At WarmuthLaw, they believe that just because you speak a foreign language, come from a different culture, or simply don't know how to navigate the legal system, that should not prevent you from compensation from injury or receiving benefits. Their multicultural staff have been helping SGVers like you for over 38 years. Visit law888.com or call them at 626-784-7017 and tell them you heard about them on this podcast.
All right, we're back with Jason. Jason, before the break, we were talking about this philosophy, value of giving back to the community, and I want to get more into that. But before that, when we come back from the break, we have these questions from this card game, and they're lighthearted. You can choose to answer it or not. Scott is always skeptical of its lightheartedness. Yeah. But so this is from a pack called Icebreakers. So here we go. You can choose to answer it or not. Would you rather watch a movie at home or at a movie theater?
At home. 100%. I think the movies are getting so long. I don't know if it's just me, but movies are like 2.5 hours long. If you go to a theater and you watch a musical, there's intermissions, like a break for you to go use the restroom or go have some water, stretch your legs. Maybe it's my age setting in or something. I want to get up a little bit and take a quick break. When a movie's 2.5 hours long, I want to be able to take that intermission and be able to step out a little bit, maybe get a drink or do something, right? And I think it's just endurance. Like you need endurance to watch a movie at the movie theaters now.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Scott?
Definitely at home. Yeah. I used to love to go to the movies, you know. When I lived in New York, I would just love to go, you know, sometimes 3-4 times a day I would go watch a movie. Actually, you know, go to a theater. But no, I haven't been to a theater for years. I don't have much interest in it.
Yeah. I actually don't know. You know, I enjoy watching movies with my family, especially my girls, and you know they have to be geared toward 6 and 10-year-olds. So we watch a lot of animated stuff. But I really enjoy seeing, you know, them discovering something new, and I wish to take them through all the movies that I love. And it's nice to have that home experience, but to also see your child look at like the big screen and have that experience, I'm more about their experience, you know, that I'm seeing it through. So. Yeah, I guess I would say both. You know?
Have you ever been to the movie palaces downtown LA that were built in the 20s for the most part? Huge. They're not open and showing movies now, but you can take tours of them. But you know, at that time, people would go spend a whole day at a movie palace.
A whole day.
A whole day. Yeah, it had a restaurant. It would show, you know, multiple movies throughout the day. Yeah, it was kind of a destination. Really fascinating. There's a guided tour of some of the movie palaces that still exist. There's probably, I think, about 10 of them in downtown LA.
Wow.
And it's not at all like a movie theater that we know. They called them palaces. Yeah.
Jason, you grew up in Hollywood, you said?
Yeah, West Hollywood.
West Hollywood. Have you been to Mann's Chinese Theater?
I drove by it, but never. There's so many tourists and it's so busy there. Yeah. I don't get the chance to.
So me too, right? Like I've never been there except for in recent years. It's now owned by a Chinese company. I think it's called TCL Theater, and they redid the screen and the sound. I know you said you'd rather watch at home. Just for the listener, that place, I think it's the largest screen in Southern California.
Oh.
The sound is just incredible, and there's not a bad seat in the house. It's in this enormous theater, just incredible. So I would go there just to watch a real like high, intense action movie, you know, just for the sound and the experience. But yeah, incredible. Other than that, I'm okay to sit at home and watch.
Sometimes you want to get out of the house, and you know, especially if you're young and your kids, you know, there's that whole experience, the nostalgia memories you create by going into the popcorn stand line and getting that, and just whatever, you know, all that good stuff.
Hey, when we took a break, you said podcasts are hard. What is it about this podcast that is hard?
First, the chair's really uncomfortable here.
Oh,
is it?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just joking. No,
we have a pillow if you want.
No, I'm just joking. No, I didn't know. It just feels like it's comfortable talking to you guys. It really is. This is a nice, comfortable chair too.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
You feel pressure?
Yeah. Maybe it's the lighting. Maybe it's, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's just you feel like you're on camera and you gotta talk, and it just feels different. Like you feel like you're talking for a purpose, and it just then feels like kind of like
it's not as conversation like.
You're being recorded, or you know, it just feels different. There's a little bit of, maybe you guys are used to it, but for me,
Sure. Well, you know, maybe we can return to something that you're comfortable with, or more comfortable with. Is when I first met you, my impression was like, wow, this guy really wants to give back to community, and for a very genuine reason, right? Thinking that like it's good to invest in the community I saw that in you, what you were saying, and then you didn't let me leave without taking this like gigantic strawberry cake with me, and I forget Adela was there from SCF, San Gabriel Educational Foundation, and she was talking about the things that you do to give back to the community. And so, can you share some of those things, not only your philosophy, but what you actually have done in the community?
Yeah, very actually a fun story. First, kind of going back to your donut shop and being a neighborhood, small town vibe. A bakery like Paris Baguette isn't a location where you're going to drive half an hour from downtown. It's not a destinational location, right? And it's if you wanted your coffee, you're not going to go an hour to go get a cup of coffee, right? And or a piece of pastry. So you're really going to, as a business, a small business, you're going to thrive and you're going to survive in probably the 10 to 15 minute driving radius of your store. You're going to be successful and you're going to be okay if the community within the 10, 15 minute drive radius supports you. And it's not as simple as just opening the door and be like, okay, we got good pastries, come support us. You have to go out there and support them back. These are the people that are going to come to you every day. This is, the demographic and the populations that's going to help you be successful or run your business to be able to survive. And in return, you rely on them as they may rely on you. And you have to give back, and you have to work within the immediate radius of your store. And it's been the philosophy of the investor, and I'm able to exercise that philosophy with him to serve the community and to have this place for something to enhance and better the community, as well as be able to earn their business as well. And one of the first areas, and this goes to San Gabriel Educational Fund, that we've been thinking about when reaching out to the community is to go to the schools, to the academic system, because the academic system is something that's very important for the community and neighborhood. It really, I believe in the advancement through the academic system and higher human capital for the city. And so we can go back to the teachers and to schools, and we met with San Gabriel Educational Fund that provides for those, they receive, their nonprofit organization, they receive donations and help the schools. And we did something to give like a swag bag of that they're doing to give back to the teachers, some gift cards and pastries to over 300 staff members and teachers of San Gabriel. It started there, and then from there we were able to. This is like where kind of how I come here actually. So we did that, and then we were able to meet with San Gabriel Police Department. I got introduced through working with the community and been supporting them and working with them, and did the coffee with the cop at the store, and then from there met other people. I forget. We met La Casa. I had the La Casa story, where La Casa is a nonprofit organization in San Gabriel that teach kids pre-K, right? And we met them, and then we were able to do stuff for them. They recently had their annual dinner for fundraising, and we supported them with some sliced cakes and desserts. And then one of our staff that works for us that serves pastries to happy customers, her kids goes to La Casa. So it's this full circle of, it's just really right in front of your door. It's not that far away. The people that work with you, from your neighborhood, and their kids go to the school, and it's very intertwined. It's very small, and it's very rewarding, and that's how I think it works. And from there, I was introduced to you guys from doing those kind of things. So reaching out and working with your community and going out there, really, I think it's something that I hope all small businesses and other businesses are able to do.
Yeah, they should recognize it's the best form of marketing as well. And you're not doing it for that purpose. You have, a better reason and purpose. But what it does for marketing is beyond what you could do, by putting up a bus bench or something,
Yeah, you can spend thousands on marketing, mail marketing and coupons. They don't, and they do have, returns, but this is, something that you can do for the community. And the community's really supportive here in San Gabriel. They really give a lot back to you. I can't say this might happen in downtown Los Angeles or in West Hollywood, but in San Gabriel, again, you go out there and you work with the community, and they give right back.
It's just being part of the fabric.
I'm curious, are you able to share this philosophy with those tenants that you bring in there? Do they just see what you do and sort of want to emulate that, or how does that work?
Some of the tenants are different generation, again, and so maybe they don't see it that way. They've been around for a long time, but they're okay. I think some of the tenants, I've also learned a lot from working with tenants working with on the real estate side, meeting business owners, working on their leases, meeting with them and talking to them about their business and what they're doing, and just spending time with them. And there are a lot of people out there, I think, a lot of business owners that do also reach out to the community and want to do stuff with the community as well. But I think it's also it's not fair to say, I think the bakery is a little bit easier vehicle for this.
It is.
I can't give out probably like a steak every time if I had a steakhouse, like imagine that, right? But like, it's a little bit different, but definitely reaching out to the community and being a part of the community is a huge, I think, something that everyone should consider for their businesses. Yeah.
Well, Jason, we're going to move on to the final segment of the show where we get to learn a little bit more about you and the San Gabriel Valley.
So, Jason, let's move to the SGV3 component. We've talked a lot about your place of business, but what are some places? They don't have to be businesses. They could be parks, locations, just places where you have developed some real connection to the San Gabriel Valley.
Mm-hmm. I think San Gabriel Valley has a lot to offer. I think people from outside really sometimes don't dive deep enough or don't know San Gabriel Valley. I'm guilty of it too. There's this one place that stands out, and it's just down the street from here. It's on San Gabriel Boulevard. It's called Ogopogo Brewery, and it's a place where they make beer.
Where is that?
Northbound on San Gabriel Boulevard. You go up, and you know where the new boiling point is? They're opening a new boiling point down the street. Just before that, you make a right, and you go into this like kind of street that dead ends. And in the very back of that street, at the very end of it, there's this brewery.
Really?
And
I wasn't aware of it.
I must drive by it all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I've seen the boiling point. It's past the nursery then, huh?
yes, it's past the nursery, which is like the 100-year-old nursery in San Gabriel, which is amazing. I've been there. I actually bought plants there. It's a great place. Yeah. And this brewery, they make delicious beer, and they do it here in San Gabriel. And I think it's something to celebrate. You know, you see Arts District have one, Arts District Brewery. You see Angel City Brewery. You go to San Diego, and then you see, Ballast Point, and you see other breweries down there doing their thing. Well, San Gabriel has their own, and it tastes great. And I just went there the other night, and they sell canned beer too. You can have it there on the spot, but they also sell it in cans. And
well, that's great. I didn't know that. So.
It's great, and they don't have a kitchen, so I don't think they serve food. So if you are wanting to eat, just grab a burger or tacos and take it there, and I think you can just eat there and buy beer there.
Oh, awesome!
It's delicious.
Ogopogo.
Ogopogo.
How about a second place?
Second one is not as cool as Ogopogo. It's good. It's actually what's, I think, again, kind of my underlining theme of San Gabriel, the city, this community, and Mission Drive. Mission Drive is really underlooked, I think. You drive by it, and it's a small street. There's not much exciting retail there except a few, and a lot of people just drive through it. They don't really stop to take a look. But what's happening there is, I think almost every month or every other month, the city closes that street and they have an event there. So they'll have something for Halloween, they'll have something for Christmas, they'll have something. They just had the Dumpling and Beer Festival, which was on that street. And the street closes, and on a monthly or almost every other month, there's something going on there. National Night Out with, it's very exciting. You go there and you see all these food trucks, you see vendors. They have one for Cinco de Mayo. You go there and you see, celebrations and dance. And
is that in the stretch right there where
in front of the Playhouse?
Playhouse is?
Yeah, usually happening in front of the Playhouse. And if it's really large, they'll take over some other streets. So there'll be like 2 streets. But every time I go there, I enjoy myself.
That is a nice little sort of a community right in there that is different from the rest of San Gabriel because of the historical. To me, it's a little more unique. Yeah,
and that Mission Drive has a lot of public parking. I think infrastructure to do something like this. So there's a big parking lot in front of the Playhouse. There's another parking lot right across from it. And so, a lot of cars can park there, and the community can come together. And if there's opportunity for businesses in San Gabriel to really be a part of the community and expose themselves and come out to the community, I think that'd be a great place to be able to put your business out there, like a stand, or if you're a food vendor, go out there, and see what you can do with the city and get involved with that. And
there is a food hall there. It used to be a Masonic temple. Don't remember the name of
Blossom.
it. Blossom, yes.
That place is great. They have this second floor, this kind of community space where they have like stand-up comedy stuff, and it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Good stuff are happening on that street.
Yeah. And a third place.
Third one, I think this is kind of the 626 night market and the 626 laugh market. I think they're onto something really cool. They're putting 626 on the map. I think a lot of communities, a lot of places, food is why we stay together. Like, you ask, we can't get too far from our food. That's why we stay near our grocery markets. We stay near our food. And 626 night market is, bringing food, spotlighting that. 626 laugh market is kind of like a stand-up comedy.
Where is that held?
Yeah, where is that?
It's you guys don't know? Oh no, it's at Hilton.
Right on. On
right by the 10 freeway.
Yeah. Okay.
And they do it there. And 626 Night Market have this, I guess, a subsidiary or part of their brand that's doing 626 Laugh Market. I believe that's what it's called. And they're just getting started. It's not like it's big. They're just getting started, and I think they're getting started. I don't know. I can't speak for them, but it's really cool. They have comedians that are there, and it's for the community, like $20 and you go, and they do it at this like bar and have a drink and watch comedians from 626.
Oh.
Wow, I never heard. That's pretty cool.
It's really cool. I had this one comedian, I forget his name. He came up and he had this joke, and he's like, I grew up and I was always bullied, and I'm stealing his joke, but I'm telling you just so you should go. He's like, I was always bullied, and when I grew up, I went back to confront my bully, and I went back to my mom. Our parents are our biggest bullies, right? No, but it was really cool because you can culturally understand, and it's just really fun.
Yeah.
It's a really cool thing that's happening here. I think there's a lot more that meets the surface here.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, because the night market was, certainly developed this certain type of culture. And now the laugh,
market.
Comic. Comic.
It has it all. You got a brewery here, and you even have your own comedy club, right? Like it's awesome. The two of them actually should come together. They should do it at the brewery.
Yeah,
you heard it here first, right?
Wow, those are all really unique and awesome choices. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Thank you for sharing the 626 Laugh Market. It's definitely something interesting.
That's what it is. You got to check on the Instagram. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, Jason, thank you so much for coming on the show and for sharing your story and your experience with us and our listeners. If people want to get in touch with you for, let's say, a real estate thing, or even come to Paris Baguette, what's the best way to do that?
I think email me. There's where I can put my email address, or
sure,
on the screen.
and where's the location of Paris Baguette?
Paris Baguette is on Las Tunas and near Mission Drive, on 708 West Las Tunas. It's the shopping center that has Phoenix, has Bonchon. It's in there. It's hard to see from the street, but we're there. And if you come by, there'll be delicious pastries for you.
Awesome. Well, Jason, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it. And I wish you the best of success with Paris Baguette in the future and all your future endeavors.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Well, there you go. Thanks for tuning in for this episode with Jason. Hope you enjoyed this episode, got something from him and his journey. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to our show. If you want to check out our full catalog of episodes, check out our website, mysgv.net. And until next week, we'll see you then.
Thank you for joining us on the My SGV podcast. Check out more of our content on our website, mysgv.net. This show was produced by Russell Mono and edited by Victoria Allers of Kind Monster Productions. If you'd like to join us next week as we capture and share more stories from our diverse community, feel welcome.
Nice mother. No, kind mother.